Yo, what is up, everybody? Ceresco back again with another short horror story written by Vivian Justin. Remember to use the links in the description below. Show love to them, like, comment, and subscribe. Forest. He ran into the forest as if he had never been caught. His back already hurt from the blows of the rifle, but he might be able to protect himself and his family with this. Those aughts in the sky could control anyone, to put it from one place to another, or just simply kill it. Frederick finally reached their house. Their house looked simple. There is a tiny chalet in which there were only 3 beds and a small kitchen. Water is only in the well next to the dirt road, and apart from the church, there is no house with water inside. As soon as Frederick saw that the danger outside had passed, he went out into the field to see the possible destruction. And as always, his next journey led to the church. There the priest informed him that 2 more residents of the village had died. One of them was killed by aught from the sky, and the other somehow flew 6 meters. Frederick looked at the border. The huge wall was stable. He never knew what was on the other side, but this is impossible to climb over. He turned and immediately saw his neighbor's head being torn off by aught. Frederick stared at him, then fell to the ground and burst into tears. His pain was intense. Aught must have sensed something because he was approaching one of them. Frederick immediately jumped away. The food was not enough. There was not much food in this small area, so Frederick and his family went to the church every night to beg God for food. Their priests held mass for fewer and fewer people. There were hardly any living people in the village. He himself was starving. Frederick decided it was time to head to the wall and the other end of the village. There is a cave where, according to legend, a bear lives. If he's done with that, he'll be able to feed everyone. He set off at dawn. He hung his gun on his back and carried some water with him. He hoped aughts wouldn't catch him. He left the house, looked around, and ran into the forest. He also hunted small animals and birds on top of the trees, but he found none. He looked through all layers, under all rocks, but they did not lead to any result. He also looked for berries, but the bushes were empty. He stopped at the hunting lodge. There he was talking to the old hunter, and suddenly aught lifted the old man's house from the ground. They barely managed to escape. The hunter cried because he lost everything. Frederick was afraid to leave the old man, so from here the 2 of them continued on their way to the bear. After a few hours, Frederick began to get annoyed with the old man. His mouth did not close. Frederick moved forward without a word, while the hunter spoke after him. They were getting close to the bear's cave, but the hunter was still talking. Frederick beckoned him to be quiet, but the hunter ignored him. So, the man figured out he would lure the bear out with the help of the hunter. He outlined his plan to the hunter, who just kept his mouth shut but went in. And he was already hungry. They crept closer to the cave. Frederick was hiding in one of the bushes. He raised the weapon to his hand and pointed it towards the cave. The hunter stopped right at the entrance to the cave. He started yelling and trying to make as much noise as possible. The bear woke up and went in front of the hunter amid loud roars. The hunter stood frightened. He waited for Frederick to do something. The bear's hand swung, and the claws wounded the hunter. Then he tried to run away. Frederick just watched the events. The two Auts descended from the sky and pressed the bear up into the sky. Frederick and Hunter looked at each other. Their last source of food is also dead. So, this is my mock-up of an old village. And the class applauded together with the teacher. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of our story.